Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Deborah Cameron, and today I'm completing the Warrior Maiden series. And I'm very pleased to be bringing to you the unification of the inner family video, where we experience the unification of the Warrior Maiden. The true unification comes with your inner family. I refer to it as the Trinity, the masculine, feminine, and inner child. This is your true family. So often we have so many issues growing up with our biological families. One or both parents will trigger the heck out of us. Perhaps a sibling in particular, or a couple of siblings. People closest to you really are the ones that have the opportunity to often trigger you the most, triggering you into your emotional blueprint. And so it's the inner child, as we discussed in the last video, that often holds the pain that is at the other end of this trigger. I call it the cord of power struggle. I will be releasing a video shortly in my Emotional Blueprint series on a process I call dissolving the cord. Dissolving the cord of the emotional blueprint. And so it's this trigger that will, as discussed, ignite that inner child's pain. It can be shown in sadness, anxiety, maybe off the wall anger. We can be going along in the course of our day, and somebody very close to us can trigger us, and we can find ourselves in this place of this rather not so happy inner child. And in a love relationship, for instance, you will see that emergence of the inner child in the other person. You see, if both parties are within their inner child acting out their pain from the past, this can become rather unruly, to say the least. Perhaps some of you know what I'm talking about. And so in the last video, through a meditation, you met up with your inner child. Now, I really hope you've had a couple of days to ponder this for yourself. The immense value behind connecting with that part of yourself. It may be alarming that some of you may have had a very emotional experience, a very sad, where you perhaps unleashed some tears. This is actually the beginning to the freedom of your inner child. You're actually acknowledging this part of yourself. For a warrior woman, for instance, which we brought up in the theme of this video, she can go on to become a mother. And if she's still really living her emotional blueprint, love is performance, she may go through the paces of raising that child, making sure the child's fed, making sure the child gets to school at time, or gets on the videos on time, or homeschools on time, or clothing them properly. Going through the paces of parenting without really engaging the heart. Perhaps some of you can relate to this. This is where the warrior abandons that inner child. And in this video that I'm giving to you today, we're going to be going through another meditation. Hopefully, in past meditations, you began the process of seeing the beauty of your warrior maiden coming together. Maybe you're still going through that process. I wouldn't be surprised that you might be. This takes time. However, when that unification happens is when the warrior maiden can actually free the inner child and open up that cavern of pain to light, to freedom, to a new expression. And so I'd like to take you through another meditation today, and we'll just see where the journey leads us. But I have a pretty good understanding of how some of it may look. And so, like before, with your feet flat on the ground and imagining that you're standing on the earth herself, I want you to close your eyes and go into that deep space of breath again. I call it sacred breath. Breathing into your tummy, filling your lungs completely, breathing up over your crown to the blue star, pausing for 2, and breathing all the way down through your feet, deep into the core of the earth. Perhaps breathe into 6 counts. Hold for 2. And breathe out to 6 counts. Being sure to anchor your energy deep into the earth. This is grounding, a grounding exercise. Now begin to breathe into your heart. And again, you may begin to feel your heart expanding. Your heart is literally doing that right now, but bringing your awareness to it is powerful. Breath in, expansion. And breath out, moving the expansion further out from your field. This is your electromagnetic field of your heart. Now, once again, create that beautiful landscape within your heart. Perhaps it's different this time. It may be the same, but see it expanding even more as you breathe, smiling into your heart, smiling the inner smile into your heart. And there you are, within your landscape, walking along again. And it isn't too long before you come forth to your warrior maiden. And if one of them is not present, simply call them in. Call them in. So in witnessing them, wherever you're at on your journey, whether you feel that they are unified or there's more to do, just have that experience with your warrior maiden. And the maiden says onto the warrior, there's somewhere we need to go today. And the 2 of them begin walking on the pathway in front of you. And the warrior is taking the maiden's lead with soft steps, intentional steps, mindfulness within the steps. And they come upon a rock cliff, a beautiful rock cliff within your landscape. You may see it off to the side if you're at the ocean. Whatever your landscape is, just create this beautiful, beautiful rock cliff. Now this rock cliff is rose quartz. It's representing the heart. I refer to it as the crystal cave. And outside of this, on the exterior of this rock cliff, there's a beautiful entrance to the cave. And there's a torch off to the side. It's within the ground, but it's burning. It's a burning torch. And so the warrior picks up the torch, and the warrior maiden journey inward to the crystal cave. There's glowing light off the torch, and it's dancing off the walls of this crystal rose quartz cave. And there seems to be different chambers there. And the warrior and the maiden turn suddenly. And there is an entranceway to one of these chambers. The warrior still has the torch, and as he's moving through, they can clearly see that this is a dark chamber. This is a dark chamber. It's surprising in this beautiful place of the heart that there would be a dark chamber. And so once again, the torch that the warrior is holding lights up the interior of this darker chamber. And off in the distance, there's this little dim light. And as they get closer, they see that there's this child that you met up with the other day holding this tiny, tiny little candle. And that candle represents hope. And they approach the child. At this time, the child recognizes the two of them almost instantaneously and looks very excited. Very excited. He or she has been waiting a long time for this moment, but this child has never lost hope. I'm sure many of you can feel that part of yourself that never loses hope. And so the maiden approaches this little child and takes this child by the hand and says to this child, "We're going on an adventure. A beautiful adventure." And so the three of them walk from the cave, through the crystal cave, to the entranceway of the landscape of the heart. And there's a lot of rejoicing and tears of love, exaltation, jubilation, celebration. The warrior and maiden once again embrace, and the inner child stands between them. The inner child stands between them, looking up at the ones that represent the masculine, feminine, the father, the mother, they pick this child up and embrace in this threesome beautiful energy of love. And there is so much gratitude for being reunited. This is your inner family reunited. This is what you've been looking for. This is where you take the active part of self, the receptive part of self, and the excited, innocent part of self. And in any given day, you will get to the point where you will recognize them individually, and then you'll recognize them unified within your heart. And so it is. And so be with this exercise. And slowly now, breathing deeply, begin to bring yourself back, but looking over your shoulder and seeing that family within your heart. Soon, with some time and a little bit of mindfulness, you will begin to feel that unification. Few deep breaths in now. And very slowly, ever so gracefully, begin to bring yourself back. So thank you ever so much for joining me on the journey of what I call the legend of the warrior maiden and inner child. And if you feel so inclined, by all means, get in touch with me. Visit my website, www.beyondemotionalblueprint.com. And if you wish, you can book yourself in for a 20-minute free discovery session. And wherever you're at in the world, I will send you a Zoom link and we can have the joy of connecting. I have a tendency to move very quickly, pinpointing your emotional blueprint and helping you see the pathway ahead that may lead you further on your journey of soul, liberation, and freedom. Thank you for joining me today. It's been my pleasure.